So today we're talking about infinite good, and you hear us talking about that many times, but I wanted to really go in depth on this. We started the day off with the Jason Mraz song, Look for the Good, and it really is our responsibility to see good, to experience good. We're surrounded by infinite good. Excuse me. This good is always present. The wonderful thing about it, there is nothing that we need or can do to expand good. What we can do is expand our understanding, our acknowledgement, our observation of it. So that's what we're talking about today. See, the infinite good's already there. It's everywhere present. It is infinite. The title of the talk. It does take practice to see good around us. This world throws so much stuff out there. Every time we open our eyes, open our ears, turn on a TV, turn on a radio, listen to a friend, go to social media, hear someone talk, anytime, it seems like we're hearing negative. Seems like we're hearing about catastrophe everywhere, meanness, evil. And if we buy into it, that's exactly what we're going to see. But we don't have to buy into it. There is not one single thing that we can do to expand it. That is probably the key thing that I want you to remember. You know, because people are always doing stuff trying to make more good. If we would take the energy that one of Kathy and my favorite shows is, it's old show. I don't guess it's still on. It's the Extreme Makeover Home Edition, whatever it is. They were constantly trying to do good, and they did a lot of good. And I'm not taking anything away from them. If the energy that was used to do that was used to help people find ways to realize more good that's already in their life, their gratitude levels come up. As gratitude levels come up, the levels of love, the levels of understanding of good come up. So let that show build their house, but help people see what's already there too. That's what this is all about. It's opening our understanding. Excuse me. There are 5 steps that I want to share with you about how to open your understanding of the good that already is. I do want to point out that one thing that you will not hear as one of the steps is willingness. The reason for that is willingness is kind of like trying. In one of our workshops, one of my teachers taught me, and I've used it for 30 years now, or however long it's been. I guess it's about 30 years. If anybody says try, I would grab something, try to pick that up. And some of them would go over and reach, no, you picked it up. Try to pick it up. And so they'd get into this thing like, okay. Well, you're not trying. You're not doing anything. There is no such thing as try. I think Yoda said it as well in Star Wars or Star Trek, whatever Yoda was in. There is no try. There is only do or not do. Willingness is kind of like that. You can be willing to do something, but take no steps, take no action, take nothing. Okay? It does require willingness. You have to be willing to take these 5 steps. But it is not one of the steps. So step 1, recognize the good that's already around you. The song talks about there's a silver lining in every cloud. But you have to look for it. You have to see good. This sounds hard, especially if you're watching the news. You know, if you're tuned into what's going on in the world, it is hard to see good. And let me be real clear here. When I'm talking good, I'm not talking about, is like our quote in our Mind Over Matter class, I'm not talking about just something that aligns with your belief process already. When I talk good, I'm talking about divine level good. Love and peace, joy. That's the kind of good we're talking about here. The kind, this life-changing good. That's the kind of love, the kind of good I'm saying is already available to you. We have to recognize that. We have to turn off the stuff that's going on sometimes in order to see good. When we see good, which is inside of us, then we can look back into the world and we'll see the world in a different way. We'll see the good that is all around us. But we've got to recognize it first. So the challenges start today by seeing good within you and then in all aspects of your life. You know, you don't have to make this difficult. You don't have to go to a devastating storm and try to find good in that. Make it simple. See good within you first and then look closest to you. What's good around my life and build from there. Because as you build, it's like gratitude. The more you find to be grateful for, the more you'll have to be grateful for. It keeps going. The second step is acknowledge that good is there. Okay, it sounds kind of like the first one. But you can walk into a room and recognize somebody across the room and not acknowledge them. Same here. You can recognize that there's good out there, but until you acknowledge it, and in this case, in good, that's to feel it, to experience it, to know it. You have to acknowledge it as well. It's very important that when we're looking out into the world, you're obviously going to see things, and even when you're looking within yourself, you're going to see things that you might not like. Recognize those, acknowledge them, and let them go. It's very important that in this recognizing and acknowledging, you don't get caught in the trap of focusing solely on that, even if your intention is to fix it. Because when we get caught up in trying to fix stuff, a lot of times we get so sucked into the energy of that negativity or that thing that we don't like that we get hung up there and we forget to get back into looking for good. So don't spend a whole lot of time there. Look for the good that makes that not a big deal. Step number 3, and this is a big one, trust. Trust that good is there. There are many situations we look at and we just cannot, for any reason, bring our minds, our human minds, to be able to see good into that. Well, if we are to believe that God is everywhere present, omnipresent, if we are to believe that God is all-powerful, omnipotent, and all-wise, omniscient, this means infinite. God is one presence. And if there's only one presence, there's not my presence and your presence and your presence. There is one presence, which is the presence of God, and we are all part. If we're to believe that, if we're to believe there's only one power, that is God. If we're to believe that there's only one wisdom, and that is God, then that thing that looks horrible out there has to have good in it somewhere. This is where trust comes in. We may not be able to see it. You know, if somebody were to walk over there and just start shooting people, I'm going to have a very hard time seeing good in that. I'll just be honest with you. But I have to. If I'm going to believe as I believe, I have to know that there is the presence of God, the presence of good there somewhere. It's my job to recognize it and then to acknowledge it. Past experiences make it very hard for us to trust in many situations. We talk often about how our thoughts create our experience. And since every one of our thoughts, until we get to the point where we can be in present moment awareness, until we get to that point, every one of our thoughts are based on past experiences. We're always comparing to something that has already happened. Even in brand new situations, this kind of feels similar to that. That's the way that ended up, so this is what's going to happen. We have to be in present moment awareness. We have to trust the presence of God. We have to trust the presence of good. One of the ways that we can do that is through affirmations. And, well, prayer. You can use prayer, you can use meditation, you can do affirmations. But the affirmations that come to mind for me on this is, I trust that God fully supports, and then fill in the blank. I trust that I am perfectly able and capable of seeing greatest good in all. You know, a lot of times people think these affirmations are just words that you throw out there and hope they stick to something. If you do not take them inside, if you do not take them into your heart, if you do not bring them into an awareness and a belief and an experience, you're right. You're throwing them out there, hope they stick. But with these affirmations, bring them in, feel them. And if those don't work for you, create one that does. But trust in God. When you trust in God, you are trusting in good. We want to make sure that we have trust in ourselves as well. Even if the trust that you have in yourself is only, I trust that I have within me all that I need to be okay. If that's the only trust you have within yourself, you're on the right track. This is not a blind trust. I'm not asking you to, growing up in the churches that I grew up in, it was a blind trust. They basically said, take what I say as the truth, don't ask any questions, just go on. I will never ask you to do that. I will ask you to question everything until you can find a belief in it. And if you can't find a belief in it, let it go to the next one. That's the only reason I sit up here, is hopefully I'm going to throw something into your mind that makes you go, I wonder. If I do that, I've done my job. But finding that trust in yourself is key. Trust that you are one in God, that God is one in you, expressing as you, through you. Everything in nature is God expressing. Why would you be any different? This is where trust starts. Know that. And as you start growing your trust, trusting that good truly is there becomes easier and easier. Then the recognition becomes even more easy, and the acknowledgement becomes easier. So trust. The fourth step is allowing. Once we start trusting, we can begin to allow ourselves to receive the good that is always present. See, a lot of us think, well, why should I trust? I've been burned so many times. This is why. Because until you can trust, you can't allow. And if you can't allow, you can't experience. Allow good. It's that simple. In any situation, just allow the truth that there's probably some good here. All I got to do is see it. Sometimes we have to go a little deeper than that, and this is again where prayer and meditation and affirmations come into play. Prayer works to center you into truth. We're not talking to some dude sitting on a cloud. We are going within. We are connecting within. And we are centering into the truth that God's presence is within us and everywhere. We're centering into the truth that good is within us and everywhere. Prayer, when you use the empowering prayer that we talk about around here, you're not asking for you to become good. You're already good. You're already perfect. You're simply asking for awareness to open up. Awareness of your truth to be revealed more fully. That's what kind of prayer we're doing. Meditation and visioning allow us to perceive the experience and the expression of good. We begin to recognize and acknowledge the experience that greatest good can bring into our lives. We begin to see the way greatest good can transform our life experience. Affirmations are just reminders of truth. And the more we speak them, the more we experience them, the more that truth is wide open in front of us, within us. And the last step is gratitude, and it's really not a step at all. It's a way of being. In all things, be grateful. We think of gratitude as just a response in most cases. We're grateful because this happened. We're grateful because this came into my life. We're grateful for this experience. In most cases, gratitude is a response. Gratitude is deeper than that. Gratitude is an energy that creates. When the presence or the energy of gratitude is our experience, we are creating love, we are creating peace, we are creating good in ways that we can see them, that we can recognize it, that we can acknowledge it. We're taking away what prevents us from seeing in the first place. Gratitude just creates more to be grateful for. And awakening to and experiencing infinite good truly is an art. It takes consistency. It takes practice. This consistent practice truly will hone in your art, and Dr. Ernest Holmes talks of this. I absolutely love it. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, "We should learn to control our thought process and bring our thoughts into line with reality." And he has a big capital R there for reality. Thoughts should tend more and more toward our affirmative attitude of mind that is positive, stable, and above all else, toward a real unity with spirit that is already complete and perfect. Holmes tells us that spirit is already complete and perfect. We are expressions of spirit. We are one with spirit and in spirit, which means we are one with God. We're one with each other. If infinite good is my truth, it's your truth as well. Anytime I have a problem with someone, I need to remember that. I need to seek. I need to open my eyes, my heart, my soul to see the infinite good in others. Practice the art of experiencing infinite good. Understand what blocks you from seeing it, and then find a way to let it go. Because until we recognize it, we cannot do anything to get past it. Recognize what doesn't work, get rid of it. Know the truth that there is nothing that can really block you. It's a thought. It's a thought. If you feel that something is blocking you from experiencing absolute good in your life, it's a thought. Uncover that thought. Let it go. This becomes a gift. The more you practice it, the more you perfect your art. And in any art, you find that in sharing that art, it's really a gift to others. So share your gift. Give that gift. We give by sharing our gifts, our talents, our creativity to the world around us. And the beautiful thing is, as we give, we receive. So let's close with prayer today. Father God, opening to your truth as omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, we know divine and infinite good is the beautiful truth we can embrace and embody. May we remember the good throughout our days and lean on it for love, for support, guidance, healing, for knowledge, and for truth. We embrace divine good within us and everywhere present. We embrace the knowing that infinite good awaits only our opening awareness to it and receptivity of it. Seeking an ever-increasing understanding of you, God, we expand our awareness of your presence, your power, and your wisdom. We expand awareness of good. Knowing the good we seek is already within, we open our hearts, our minds, our knowing, that we may grow our understanding and embrace our truths more deeply, and we are grateful. And so it is. Amen.